Yeah, I wanted to share a tip on purging the air from these Festo valves. They, in my opinion, work well. I've had them in a number of models. The trick is setting them up to get the air out of them and to get the air out of the system. You can see this one has some air in it, and there's also some air in the line right here that will go into the filter and stay there unless we do something about it. And this normally will sit down in front of the air trap there, and the fuel flows this way, which is downhill. Doesn't really help for letting the air pass because the air wants to go uphill. So what I've done is I've gotten some slack so I can pull this out and run the fuel through it and get the air out of it. The trick is going to be using something to tap this filter while the fuel is running through it so that the bubbles break up into small enough pieces to go through the screen and get carried through and out of there. And this line goes, it's going from the pump and through the filter and then into the turbine. So the air has to get purged out of here. And one option is to shake the jet while it's running to get the air out of some of the trap spots. But I've found that this takes a lot of that work out of there. And what this will do is it'll actually circulate the fuel through from the air trap through the pump and then to the engine. But right now I have the engine removed and the fuel is going to go straight back into the tank. So to do this, I take the engine out and then connect a fuel line so the fuel goes right back into the system and into the air trap. And the fuel tank's actually empty at this point, but there's enough fuel in the air trap where I can recirculate this and get it out of there. So I've got my controller here, and we'll get to the menu that gets the fuel pump running. And I've noticed that if I don't have this in trim low, if throttle is at idle or higher, the menu won't even show up. So it has to be in the engine kill mode or trim low, and we'll arrow right to get to the menu here, and it's under info, so I'll keep arrowing right to select that. We don't need to test the starter, so we'll keep going. Don't need to test the glow plug. This is the menu we need. Test prime the pump. And when I hit the negative, this will turn on the pump and it'll keep running until I hit the plus, in which case the pump will turn off. So what I'll do is turn on the pump, get the fuel flowing, and then I will move the filter so that the bumps are on, or sorry, the air bubbles are on the high side, and I'll tap it with a screwdriver handle, and that'll break up the bubbles and let them go through. So we'll start it up here. So we've got the fuel is running, and you may have seen some of the air go into the filter, and here it's coming through the system and back into the air trap. So I'm going to move this, and you can see some of the air is already moving through, but it doesn't usually all come out. No, actually, no. Yeah, we still have plenty of air in there. So as I move it uphill, that fills fuel into the filter. And usually this gets rid of more of the air, but we'll start tapping and see what we can do here. So as I tap, you may be able to see there's small bubbles that get taken downstream. And here they come back into the tank. They're into the air trap where they're not a problem. And as I keep doing this, the amount of air in there gets to be less and less. And usually I can get this to a point where there's a very small bubble. And there we see it's about 1/8 inch in diameter. If you can see it, pretty small bubble. That shouldn't cause any problems. But what we've done is chased all the air out of this filter by turning it into smaller bubbles. And then I could move the airplane around while the fuel is circulating like this and get air out of more corners. And I might try that later, but for now, this shows a way of dealing with this filter. So I will turn the pump off and I'll get the filter back down where it needs to go. So that filter is set up so there are no air bubbles in that. And as long as I don't run the system dry, it'll stay free of air in the filter and not give me any problems while I'm running it. So that's my experience with these Festo filters. If you give them a little attention, they will get the air out of there and should never be a problem.